What's up guys, welcome to Freedive Passion. This week's video is a follow-on from last week's where I discussed how to program your training. This week I'm going to talk about how I used them principles to program my own training. For this training period I've decided to focus on constant weight. If I look at last season's achievements in constant weight, I was doing 70 meters in 2 minutes and I was completely relaxed, completely fine, always came up fresh. Last season I also did 105 meters variable, which took 2 minutes 45, and I would say this was about the edge of my skill level. The dive was fine, but it was definitely challenging. So from these two dives that I've been doing, I can say that I've got about 35 meters and 45 seconds to play with when it comes to my constant weight. If I want to improve my constant weight, I need to think about the dives I did last season, what my biggest weaknesses were, and start to build them up into strengths. So if I think back, 70 meters was kind of the limit of my equalisation, so long as I want to be able to get there consistently. I could go deeper, but I couldn't guarantee it on every single dive. Last season I was diving without packing and with a mask, so there's simple solutions to solve that problem. As far as lactic acid buildup or hypoxia goes, I was completely fine, so long as I maintained my form. If I maintained my form, kept my legs straight, I had no major lactic acid buildup, but I was finding that I was lacking a bit of strength to maintain that form. The solutions to my equalisation is quite simple. I have three options. One is to get a lower volume mask, because the mask I was diving in was quite high volume for a free diving mask. Two, I can switch to nose clip, that's going to save me a lot of air. Or three, I can start to pack, which means I'll start the dive with extra air and be able to equalise deeper. I'll say right off, I don't really believe in packing, so straight away I'm going to rule out that option. A lower volume mask, it could make sense, but the best mask to go for is the Sphera, and the Sphera doesn't last very long, so it's kind of like, you know, throwing away money. Probably you'll only get like 6 months, if you're really lucky, a year's use out of a Sphera. So I'm going to go with the nose clip, because I already have a nose clip anyway. This should give me plenty of leeway to start to improve from 70 meters. Now when it comes to maintaining my form, being strong enough to do that, the answer is quite simple. I need to start a strength training program, which I did and I have been doing for the last 3 months. I'm yet to slip on my fin, but I have done some bifinning back in Cancun and some of the cenotes, and just the difference is unreal. It was so easy to move my fins through the water and keep my legs completely straight. So I'm thinking all that hard work is really going to pay off when I get into the water. So my pre-season training over the last 3 months has looked like this. I do stretching every day, at least 20 to 25 minutes, but I try to do it twice a day with a bare minimum of once. Yeah, every now and again, you know, life gets in the way and I might miss a day, but that's the rarity. With equalisation, I've kind of got what you might call like Tourette's. So I'll just equalise without thinking about it. I'm hands-free and I'll just be walking around doing something and not even realise that I'm equalising. I'll probably equalise something like 200 to 300 times a day. If I'm bored in the bus or waiting somewhere or doing something, I'll just start to play around with some of the dry equalisation training, which I've already showed you guys. Apart from that, I've been doing 3 days of strength training a week, and it's the exact same routine that I showed you guys in the strength training video. I'll do 2 cardio sessions a week. It's been kind of light cardio because that's not a weakness of mine. I just do it more for general health and fitness, to maintain my bone density, to maintain the health of my joints, than anything freediving related. If I could have done anything to improve this pre-season training, I would have definitely incorporated fin swimming. The problem is, my fin was in England and I was in Mexico, so it was impossible. I would have also liked to have done more meditation. Mental concentration, it's not really a weakness of mine in freediving, I've already worked on that, but there's just huge benefits to meditation and you can't do too much basically. Before I get into my acclimatization, I just want to say that this is personalized to me and it might not be suitable to you or anybody else. You can see I'm starting with repetitions of 40 meters. The main reason for this is 1, 40 meters is quite an easy dive for me. 2, it's around my failure depth. It's just a little bit deeper than my failure depth. So what that means is my dive response is kicking in, but it doesn't have to be super effective yet because it's the very start of my training period and I haven't been in the water for about 3 or 4 months. So what I'm doing is I'm slowly inducing my dive response, getting my body used to the fact that it's starting to go deep again. But the dive response doesn't have to be very strong because I'm not going very far past my residual volume. The great thing about doing repetitions of shallower dives is the total number of meters that you'll do, like per week, is way higher than if you were doing deeper dives. So like I mentioned, I'm incorporating nose clip, which is a new thing for me. So it's giving me the volume that I need to gain my relaxation with the nose clip. I'll then move on to 50-meter dives. You'll notice that I've reduced the number of dives now because the diving is becoming deeper. 50 meters is a great number because it's quite a bit into my residual volume, so I can really see how effective my blood shift is. And I shouldn't feel any pressure within my lungs by doing these 50-meter dives. If I am feeling pressure, I'm not going to go any deeper than 50 meters. I'll keep repeating that until all them feelings have gone. So long as I'm not feeling any pressure in my lungs, which I don't imagine I will, I'll move on to 60 meters. Once I moved on to 60, you'll notice I only do 1 dive per session, and 1 day of diving and 1 day of rest, so a ratio of 1 to 1. On these 60-meter dives, once again, I'm going deeper into my residual volume, so I can gauge how my blood shift is working, making sure I'm not feeling any uncomfortable pressure within my lungs. But I've got a feeling at this point my body will have adapted and I should be feeling fine. Next I'll move on to 70 meters. 70 meters is my PB, so I'm going to be sure that I'm still able to maintain my relaxation and enjoy the dive. If I'm not going to go any deeper. The thing is, because I'm close to my PB now, I don't want to spend too much time or do too many dives around here because I'm worried about overtraining. So I kind of want to get it over and done with at this point. But if I don't have the relaxation, I won't do it. I'll learn what lessons need to be learned, and if I don't get a PB during this training period, then that's okay with me, because I'll use them lessons to become a better freediver. Next I'll try 75 meters. Now 75 meters is it might be a big jump from 70 meters for some people, but I've found over the years that a 2.5 meter jump is kind of a waste of a dive for me. It feels the exact same as 70 meters. And if I'm completely relaxed at 70, then 75 is actually a reasonable jump. Once I've done the dive, I'm going to analyze the dive and think about it thoroughly over the next couple of days and try and find any weak points within the dive. So was there any moments of panic? Was there any lapses of concentration? Was I able to equalize at the bottom? Was I having any lactic acid buildup? Anything like this, I'm going to figure out. I'll then repeat that dive 1 more time. If everything feels perfect on my 75 meter dive, then I'll try 80 meters. And I'm going to put a cap on 80 meters, no matter how good that 80 meters feel, no matter how much I believe I can do another 5 meters. I'm not going to go deeper than 80, probably for the rest of this year. If I have another training period, then I'll just repeat the 80 a few more times, just to build up my relaxation and to build up my confidence with that depth. If you look at my training schedule, it might look a little bit bare, but then you need to remember that I'm still having to maintain the gym at a much lower volume and a much lower intensity, and also my cardio and anaerobic training also at a much lower volume and a lower intensity. As well, once I start approaching my PB, I'm going to pretty much drop my cardio and drop my resistance training to save my energy for them deeper dives. As you see, I'll then have a week spare. So what I might do is start to improve my free immersion if I still feel like I have the energy, or I might just take a week off and chill out before I go to Kalamata at Freedive Club Greece, because I think it's going to be a really busy season. Okay guys, if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, then we teach you in our 10-day retreats, which are going to be held right here in beautiful Dahab. Check it out where I am right now. This is a 10-minute walk from Dahab town. Not bad, right? If you like the video, then like, share and subscribe. And until I see you next time, take it easy and dive safe.